Good morning. It's Friday morning, Friday the 13th of June. Mateo Seleke reporting for my Northern Cape TV business desk. We are live here at the Africa Green Hydrogen Summit. We have the pleasure of hosting the Chief Director for Trade and Investment in the Northern Cape from the Department of Finance, Economic Affairs and Tourism, Mr. Riaan Warie. Good morning, Mr. Warie.
Morning, Mr. Seleke.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Yeah, we're on the sidelines of the Hydrogen Summit, which is the third edition this time around. As a province, what is your take on it?
I think as a province, this is the third time that we are participating at the summit, and I think what is the movement or the transition of the summit for us is very important, and I think it's quite an achievement. Whereby in the two earlier editions, the focus was mainly on South Africa, and South Africa's push towards the green hydrogen production or the green hydrogen sector. However, now the third edition, we've included Africa, so the focus is not just on South Africa anymore, but on Africa, so that we as a continent can work together and see how we can complement each other, not to compete, but how we can complement each other in the development of green hydrogen. And of course, for us in the southern part of Africa, it's our drive towards how can we realize what we call the Western SADC green hydrogen corridor. Secondly, also a key takeaway for me is the fact that we are still grappling with how can we de-risk green hydrogen development, green hydrogen production. And when I say how can we de-risk, is how can you raise funding? And everybody agrees that you need to look at blended funding, because you need to look to find grant funding for your project preparation, so that you can de-risk the project, so that you don't need to de-risk on the capital side, but also on the development side. And I think that's a key takeaway from me, is to how are we working together? How can we utilize funding coming from the EU and all some of the other regions globally to see how can we develop and de-risk this whole sector.
Yeah, I think it's an important point that you're actually making. Also, over a few days, one of the buzzwords has been from PowerPoint to megawatts, and then it became from PowerPoint to terawatts.
Mm-hmm.
But I think basically behind the buzzword it is how do you begin to action all of the activities that has been happening around hydrogen. I know, currently I think it's safe to say that the framework is in place.
Mm-hmm.
We need to move from strategy to shipping.
You're absolutely right.
What do you think we stand as a province going forward?
No. I think we've made a lot of progress, Mr. Seleke. I think what's important is to prove to the world that South Africa can do it. I'm just taking an example. Namibia have already launched certain pilot projects. For example, the production of fertilizer, where they prove to the world that, listen, Namibia can produce green hydrogen. Same with us here in South Africa. And yesterday, the two announcements of Hive. Hive is basically ready to start production, I think, by next year. So that will be our first, production plant that's up and running with regard to green hydrogen. Also, from a Northern Cape perspective, the announcement by KfW that they're going to put funding into the Prieska Power Reserve. I think it's positive news. We're headed in the right direction. It's just that I think if you look from a provincial government perspective, I think it will just be very important that not just provincial government, but also your municipalities where these things are happening. We need to work closely together. We need to market this as, one message going out to the market, and not try to confuse the market out there. Because you see, what sometimes happens if there's a lull and you don't have the momentum of marketing, and constantly giving the message out, especially to our communities. Yeah. Our community starts to ask questions, you see. So I think, the news that we got here and these announcements, I think when we go back, it's about spreading that message like you're doing today, spreading the message that yes, we are making progress, and definitely green hydrogen production will be a reality for the Northern Cape.
Yeah. No, most definitely, Mr. Warie. I think with someone in the industry, we get excited about all of these things. But I think outside that, one needs to recognize that there's a lot of work that has been done in the underground before we actually get to see a lot of things. There's a lot of pitches happening also around, especially today, which is the last day.
Yes.
And I've noticed that majority of the pitches even here are, projects from the Northern Cape.
Yes.
So there is a lot of work that is happening. I think there's UP Langa.
Later on today.
I think Sean Modise will be pitching.
Sean Modise will be pitching Bukubai as well.
So there are those projects happening.